Still, we have Dr. Claude Anderson on the line. Dr. Anderson, I wanted to give you a chance to talk more about the new book because all black folks need to own PowerNomics already. Just
Right, right.
point blank period. Y'all need to have that as part of your. In any black man's house, you need to have a library of books. You need to have a section of that library which is just black books, and PowerNomics needs to be part of that. But I want you to talk a little bit about the new book, the Black History Reader.
Oh, okay, I will be delighted to do that, Robert. As a matter of fact, let me first tell them how to get the books and stuff. They should go to the PowerNomics.com website and order it. And they got you get two packages of it back up there that'll be very important for them. One is called a solution package, which is made up of three books. That is the Black Labor White Wealth book, the PowerNomics book, and a new book called The Black Reader. That runs about $65 for those three books. But they can get all five of the books for about $99 plus a DVD in there about how to properly educate black children. And that would include Black Labor White Wealth, PowerNomics, Dirty Little Secrets 1, Dirty Little Secrets 2, and the Black History Reader. And they can go to the PowerNomics website and order and get those as packages. And the one is called a solution package, the smaller one. The large one is called a library, a Black History Library. If they get those five books, they never have to read any other books, whether it's written by a white author or black author, about race matters in America. Everything they could possibly be interested in and want to know would be in there. And that's based on the fact that I always want to be a forensic historian on race matters in the country. There's never been one in the country. I started out early in my life and I went into politics. So I'm going to do everything in a critical sense to give blacks all the intimate things they need to know about why racism is against them and how the deck is stacked. And they can find all the information they need and reading those books, get them all as quickly as they can by going to PowerNumbers.com. Now, your second point is Black Labor, the Dirty Black History Reader. What that is addressing is back what nobody's addressed also is that you live in a society where you have two constitutions. One was ratified in 1789, which is the first constitution. That contains amendments from 1 through 12. That is an affirmative action plan for whites, and it was based on giving them an affirmative action plan to come to this country and what they call the American Dream. The American Dream means come to America and get free land, free Indian land, and free black labor. And that's why after the Constitution was ratified in 1789, the next thing they did in 1790, the next year, they put in the first immigration and naturalization laws, which says that this is a white nation, and the only person who's going to get into the benefits of this country must be white. And or those who can pass for white will be classified as whites. And black folks do not qualify because they are property. Property cannot own property, anything else. So what this new book is show you how in this country, that most of the wealth in this country was based and attached to land. Land was the key. And see, black folk were classified as property, so that's why they couldn't own it, and they were controlled by being property. And then they started out with George Washington. George Washington picked up 100,000 acres of free land. Thomas Jefferson said, give me 100,000 acres of free land. Patrick Henry says, well, give me life or give me death, but also give me 65,000 acres of land. Now, in that land was all the wealth in this nation that black labor is going to be addressing. And it tells you, and the black reader will be addressing. It shows that all the wealth in this nation, the land, the gold, the silver, the chrome, the timber, the bauxite, and all the minerals inside that land. And the white people picked up, when they came to America under the American Dream, which excluded blacks, and is still excluding blacks at the present time by immigrants coming here, and they picked up over 1 billion acres of free land. So black folk cannot be a competitive group in this country, and that's why when they came out of slavery, and this issue is addressed in the Black Reader. It tells you how when they came out of slavery in 1860, that black folk, that the few blacks who were outside of that 5 million, had about 200-some thousand blacks that were free. They had managed to control 1/2 of 1% of this nation's wealth. And now here we are, 150 years later, black folks still, 150 years after slavery, still only control 1/2 of 1% of the nation's wealth. Black folk do not own and control anything in greater proportion of any importance in this country. That's over 1/2 of 1%. What that means is that in this country, as it was in 1860, that the typical white person in this country has 3,500 times more wealth than the average black. There's no way they can compete. I got about 4 or 5 white millionaires in this country that owns more wealth than all 44 million black folk put together. You got about 568 white billionaires in the country. You're playing with a stacked deck. You can vote all you want to, and the black reader would address this. Voting is immaterial if you don't control the wealth and power behind it. Voting is that's like a sugar pill for black folk. They send them to the poll to vote. They don't get any benefits because, first of all, blacks don't demand anything from the politicians they put in office, and the politician has no intention of doing anything for them. Never has a politician, black, white, ever gone strictly to an elected office and say, I promise to deliver to black folk. No president has ever delivered anything specifically and solely to black folk. And so you got to change those formulas. This black labor reader will start you at the beginning with a social construct, shows you how that social construct was set up in the history by the founding fathers to guarantee you're going to be locked in box forever. Now, we had a chance to get out of it after 1757 when the Dred Scott decision was given and by the Supreme Court that says black people have no rights and a white person is bound to respect. And so when the Civil War ended, a radical bunch of Republicans who, as I said to you earlier about the Howard University, who had black mistresses and black children, they said that only two things blacks in America will ever be. You're going to be slaves, you're going to be free. And minimally to be free, the black folk in America must have at least 40 acres, a mule, and $100. But again, the Supreme Court, which is your other big problem, I'm glad to hear you're a lawyer, is that you have the guardians of racism in America is the United States Supreme Court. It is totally inexcusable for black folks to sit and listen to the United States Supreme Court. When that surprises, you've had 127 people on the United States Supreme Court, and now the first 57 were slave owners. And since that time, all you had is white racists. And to the present day, in all these centuries, you've had about 1.5 blacks being on the Supreme Court.
And again, Clarence Thomas is at half.
Huh?
Clarence Thomas counts as half.
You got it. Boy, you're a smart man.
All right, we got to go, but can you tell people again how to get the book?
Okay, tell them, please go get those books as fast as they can, and so we can deal with it. The conditions are going to get real bad right now with Trump in office. Tell them to read those books, and we're going to try to give them some leadership out of the Harvest Institute and the PowerNomics Corporation. And I do thank you for inviting me. Tell them to go to PowerNomics.com and order the packages.
All right, thank you so much. We're going to have you back on. Thank you so much, Dr. Claude